everybody. Good morning, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody, everyone with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt, you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never ever alone. Here on Invisible Condition, we know life can be tough sometimes. We get it. Hey, 7 brain surgeries in, man. don't talk to me about tough. It can be rough sometimes. Okay, I get it. We also know that there is always hope. Always hope. So that's where we choose to live. Here is hope. If it's been a minute for you, join us. It's nice here. It's nice with hope. So I want to talk about a couple things real quick before we bring on our guest. And one of them is our nonprofit. And our nonprofit is called Hydro with Hope. And the nonprofit is designed to help people with a condition called hydrocephalus, which is what I was born with. And that condition can really honestly wreak havoc on your life if you let it. And we actually publish a journal, fill in the blank journal, to help families along with that process. And we I love to talk to families and help them. And my wife and I are speakers. We like to speak all over the world, talking about, our story of hope, in regards to this crazy condition that I was born with, and that my wife has, by the grace of God, graciously stuck with me through all this. It's just amazing. It's a great story. And so the bottom line is we want to help more families, and we don't have as much funding as we need to help as many families as we want to help. And so we are expanding our board, and we are in the process of doing that now. And so if you know of somebody that might be an amazing board member, I would love to talk to you, whether that's you or somebody you know. And so drop me an email at invisiblecondition@e360tv.com. And I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'll send you my calendar link and we can talk. In the same way, if you know somebody that would be an amazing advertiser or sponsor for our show, man, would I love to talk to you. We've got some amazing sponsors right now, and I love every one of them. I also know that more people want to get the word out. And so if you are one of those, or you know somebody who is, hook me up. I'd love to talk to them. Let me know. Drop me an email and let's have a conversation. So that is enough of that. Let's grab this right here. Boom. There we go. All right. Let's bring our guest on. Now, our guest, Rebecca Lyons, is the founder and CEO of HerSay, which is an AI-powered doctor visit companion app designed to help women advocate for their health before, during, and even after the appointment. So with a background in sales, digital transformation, and human-centered design, Rebecca is now passionate about leveraging AI. Aren't we all? That is like the thing now, right? Leveraging AI. We gotta, if you're not working in AI right now for some aspect of your business, I feel like you're out in the cold. So leveraging AI and storytelling to make healthcare more personalized. And don't we need that? Instead of the 10-minute check, see you later, next patient. So at HerSay, they believe that you shouldn't need a medical degree. Number one, shouldn't need a medical degree to advocate for yourself. Hello, I'm proof of that. Your symptoms are valid. That's another thing, even if they don't fit neatly into a chart. And number 3, technology should support your health, not confuse it. So, and that is, if you go to her website, there's a lot more, and we'll talk about that too. Oh, and by the way, your voice, it matters a lot. So that's another thing she talks about on her website. So I'm going to bring her on. She can talk more about all of this. I'm excited for you to meet her. Let's bring her on. Rebecca, thank you so much for being here. This is awesome.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. This is cool. So I do have a question for you that I like to ask everybody, before we dive in. And that is, everybody with a health journey, everybody with an invisible condition has had rough days, right? I mean, there's always rough. Hopefully your good days outweigh your rough days. But on those rough days, how do you personally maintain hope?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think maintaining hope is really what keeps everybody going here when we're dealing with these invisible conditions. So, the way that I see it is I'm thankful to be here every day. And even on those hard days, I look for a little thing that I enjoy. Maybe that's spending some time with my daughter. I have an 18-month-old. She's wonderful. Maybe spending some time with my husband, right? That could be as simple as watching a little TV episode that you enjoy, maybe having a little snack or an something to indulge in. Taking a bath, right? Find one little thing in that day to make it a little less bad.
Nice. Love that. And yes, I'm full confession here. I'm a total movie junkie. I'm kind of a movie savant. I absolutely love movies and TV shows and stuff. And I don't know where I got it, but you ask me about a quote or an actor or a whatever, and I've probably got it somewhere back recesses of my brain. And so, yes, we enjoy that kind of stuff as well. I love that. I love that you said that. So thank you. Totally. So I can't wait to hear about this AI powered stuff. Like that's like all the rage now, right? That's like, ooh, AI, what are they doing with it now? We're going to talk about your app, but first, also I'm going to put your website on the screen and we're going to talk about that too. But first, so there you go, guys. If you're curious about what she's doing, and we'll talk about this in a second, but scan that QR code. So first, tell us a little bit about you. When did you start experiencing symptoms of, part of the reason it's an invisible condition, right? And you have experienced endometriosis as an invisible condition, and that has kind of rocked your world. And so tell us kind of how that started, how you figured out what was going on, and what were those first early days like?
Absolutely. So I've been experiencing symptoms of endometriosis for at least 8 years, maybe even longer. It was about 8 years ago when I first saw a doctor about the symptoms. And, I was experiencing extreme fatigue, a lot of bloating, IBS symptoms, like the whole thing. And we looked into like blood work. We looked into doing a sleep study, a whole bunch of tests, which came out as being a little inconclusive. And so at the time it was, well, you're young, you're healthy, there's probably nothing going on. In other words, it's in your head. So a little invalidating, a little bit, you start to believe that narrative, right? You think, oh, maybe it is in my head. Maybe this is normal. Maybe I should be feeling this way. And it really wasn't until more recently my family doctor retired and I ended up with a new primary care provider who's a nurse practitioner. And their care model at the clinic that I'm at is just a little bit different. So what they tend to do is follow a framework where they really hear out their patient and then explain all of the options for them as far as looking into that diagnosis, all of the options for a treatment plan, and then you're able to select what works best for you. So it took 30 something years for me to be exposed to this model of care, which was crazy, right? But it was incredibly supportive. So when I had my daughter, I'm 18 months postpartum right now. Unfortunately, I went through some postpartum anxiety. We were dealing with a lot of other things where I actually was diagnosed with ADHD as well in that time. So with the medication for the anxiety, it exacerbated the ADHD symptoms. We were able to sort of put a bunch of pieces together and say, oh my gosh, like, again, these are symptoms that I've always had, but just kind of never was able to find out why. So when I had this flare up in my endometriosis symptoms, I brought those to my nurse practitioner and said, like, what's going on? Like, I have some friends with endometriosis. Do you think it might be that? And she said, well, actually, yes, that checks out. That sounds like it definitely could be. What we'll do is we'll order some tests to actually try to rule it out because it often doesn't show up on tests yet, though there's research going on in that area. So unfortunately, because I have stage 4 endometriosis, it did show up on the ultrasound that we had ordered. But instead of being really bummed out, I was actually feeling really validated because finally I had an answer for these symptoms that I had been
Yes,
experiencing for so long, right?
totally. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, man. I have had guests on. I had one guest in particular that it took her 12 years to get the actual diagnosis, like the real actual correct diagnosis.
Yes.
Honestly, I'd have to go back and watch the show to remember exactly, but it was something along the lines of chronic fatigue, lupus, endometriosis, fibromyalgia, like there's a group of those that are like so similar in some of those symptoms. And so, but it took her 12 years. She went to
Yeah,
multiple doctors, took multiple medications. It can be a thing. So I'm
absolutely.
glad it was quicker for you.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah. Quicker
Yeah,
by a couple years, but
that's great.
overall, an 8-year
Yeah, yeah,
process. Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. Well, let's just. I don't want to neglect the QR code on the screen right now. First of all, by the way, if anybody is watching it, any of these channels, by the way, thank you for being here, everybody. We appreciate you. We love you. Keep coming back. This is awesome. Facebook, YouTube. If you have a question, for Rebecca, if something she says, you're like, oh, that's me, or oh, that's not true, or whatever, just whatever. If you have a question for her, you have a comment or something, just throw it in the comments there, and we can get back to you. And then also, her website is right here. So if you are watching on something that lets you scan the QR code or go to the website, do that. What are they going to find on that website when they get there?
Yeah. So on our website, you can find some information about the product that we're building. HerSay is an application that you can download on a phone or a tablet. Will be web accessible as well, and it allows you to go in, track your symptoms, and it'll use AI to identify trends that are happening over time. What we do with that information is we translate it into a script that you can go to your doctor with, and it allows you to facilitate a really great conversation with your primary care provider to start to uncover what might be going on, right?
Mm,
So let's say that I've been logging my symptoms and it calls out that I've been logging moderate to extreme fatigue over the course of the past 2 months. How might I approach my doctor with that information so that we can dig into that and find a root cause, right? So rather than going to the doctor and saying, I've been kind of tired lately, I can actually bring data to that appointment and say, I've been logging moderate to severe fatigue for the past 2 months, more often than not, right? However many days it comes up. Do you think that this could be a symptom of an underlying condition, right? So it may also prompt more specific questions depending on the combination of symptoms that you've been logging. And then when we're in that appointment, we can take our notes based on what the provider says, and it'll help us follow up on our treatment plan. So if the
nice.
doctor recommends a medication, for example, in my case with
Mhm.
the anxiety, right? We want to know how I'm doing on that medication so that we know if it's the right medication for me and if it's effective, right? So if I continue to log and track how I'm feeling, along with I'm actually taking that medication, yes or no, we can start to see how is that having an impact on the symptoms, right? So it's a little bit of a full circle type of situation we're dealing with here to try to make sure that not only are we receiving the diagnosis, but we're also getting a treatment plan that works for us.
Yes. Love that. That all of it. It's beautiful. Because oh man, I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to the doctor and you go, I mean, they just did, I've had 4 brain surgeries between 2014 and 2021. I've been to the doctor a few times in that time frame. And of course, follow-ups and whatever. It's so funny. Even after they do a surgery like that, there's going to be side effects. There's probably going to be stuff going on. There's going to be symptoms. They still don't know what to do with some of it. And they're like, and part of it is I don't know what to tell them because I don't know the lingo, right?
Yeah,
I don't know their doctor speak or whatever. So that
exactly.
is huge because if you come into there with actual terminology that they will understand and be able to work with, that's half the battle. So that's amazing. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's so cool. All right. So I And this is an app that's out there right now that
That's
people
right. Yes, you can download it on the App Store, the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store.
Beautiful. And it's just HerSay.
Correct.
Okay. What about us? What about the guys? Can we
Yeah,
download it
so
too?
we've started with great
Okay,
question.
just checking. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
It's just HerSay,
absolutely.
so I'm just
So yes, our target audience is women plus. So we know that women specifically are disadvantaged when it comes to their health, and where we add additional intersections with race, religion, et cetera, it's even worse, right? So the reason that our target audience to start is women is because we know that they're underserved as a community. That's not to say that there's not a use case for men and others to go ahead and download the app and use it. Features and functionality will absolutely work, but currently we're trying to support the women that really need that additional care.
totally get it. You never know. I just wanted to throw it out there,
Yep.
I mean, there are women only networking groups. There are, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to just throw that out there. So, all right, guys, no excuse. You can download it too.
Absolutely.
It's okay. Yeah, no, that's great. That's amazing. So you are clear. So, let me think for a second. I had a question in my mind, and I was like, no, I don't think so. You mentioned chronic fatigue, and I mean, we've talked about a lot of things, but I think you said something about, or maybe I did, chronic fatigue. Symptoms. There are things. I think I mentioned a few conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia and endometriosis, and like there's all kinds of stuff that primarily women experience.
Yes.
Right. And it's like a silent thing that they can't really, is that, am I speaking correctly? Like that is something that a lot of women don't want to talk about, because especially if they have a male doctor, maybe, because they'll be dismissed. It's like, is that still a pretty common thing?
Yeah, I think sometimes the challenge is that when we do bring it up, it's brushed off as, oh, well, that happens to many women, so you're just one of many, and we don't know, right? And so that becomes normal, and it's not normal, right? There just hasn't been research that's been done into uncovering what's going on with all of these types of conditions and all of these experiences that women have. I mean, there's so much that we go through, especially because we have those hormonal fluctuations that men don't have. And so our experience is unique, right? We do have a difference in our biology. And I think the more that we research women's health in general and how our systems have an impact, and vice versa. When you have a condition that may impact women differently than men, right? And
Totally.
that's what it is, right? It is what it is, and we need to understand a little bit more so that we can make sure that we're treating people the right way. There's something to be said about the research that has been done, and typically that audience is not typical of like the size and frame of a woman. It doesn't take into consideration those hormonal fluctuations, and so that could even be like with regards to dosing of certain medications and effectiveness and efficacy of medications, right? There's so much I think that we still have to learn. And I'm glad that we're finally in a spot where we're starting to get that sort of ball rolling on the women's health research.
Yeah, it's true. It's a beautiful age to live in, man. It's good. They're figuring stuff out. They're getting on board with a lot of things that, I mean, there's conditions across the board that 10 years ago didn't have a voice at all.
Exactly.
And now it's like, oh yeah, all that evidence that we ignored. Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah, I agree totally. So, well, I'll tell you what, we are at a good place for a commercial. So we are going to go make the sponsors happy for a couple of minutes, and we will be back with more discussion here. And Rebecca, I'd love for you to tell the audience and me and everybody about your AI-powered healthcare app more when we get back. Let's like dive into that when we get back, so we can tell more about that. And so everybody, stick around, don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in just a couple minutes.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hi there, I'm Dawn Livingston, your host on the Transcend and Succeed show. Join me Fridays at 2 p.m. Central for limitless inspiration and ways to help you transcend your limitations. Tune into the Achieve TV network and the Voyage to Vitality channel. Transcend and Succeed show, right here on A360 TV.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here, Rebecca. This is awesome. Everybody is just tuning in. We have a QR code here that will tell you much more about what Rebecca's doing and her app, HerSay. And so please scan the QR code and go there and learn all you can about it. And then also, if you are watching on any of these platforms, thank you for being here. And please comment and ask questions and whatever you got, bring it on. Let's talk about it. Put it in the comments and we'll go from there. So now before the break, we were talking about a lot of the stuff that gets kind of overlooked because it's invisible and it's it's probably nothing. Just sleep it off, whatever. What was the turning point that led to, like, there was something that led to your diagnosis and that you actually got? It was like, yes, this is, you saying it was so validating, right? Like what was that actually led you there? And how did it felt so validating? Like, what was that?
Yeah, so I think as people, as women, when we navigate health appointments, we're not always taught what to say or how to approach those conversations with our primary care provider. We really go in with certain expectations of the doctor, and the doctor has certain expectations of us, but there's this sort of miscommunication or not lack of communication about what exactly that gap looks like, right? So I think for me, when my nurse practitioner laid out sort of how the framework of our appointment was going to flow and what questions did I have, and I'm allowed to disagree with her treatment plan option that she's recommending, and like sort of explaining to me what that whole process looked like, that was really like the revelation to me was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this wrong my whole life. Like, I didn't know I was allowed to like ask more questions, question what the doctor was saying, ask them how they came to that, conclusion. Like, it was just mind blowing to me. And I think that there's a lot of people in the conversations I had from a research standpoint before we actually developed the app. I spoke with over 100 women, and so many of them weren't aware of. It's partially their patient rights, but it's also just the fact that the doctor's not a magic person who just has every answer. They're a human being and they can't know everything, and they're not living in your body. They don't know your experience. And so it really is up to us to communicate in a way that they can understand and make that conclusion that they need to make. And it's also up to us to communicate when things aren't maybe going well, or when the recommendation doesn't land or doesn't make sense for you, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to be perfectly candid and a little bit tongue in cheek here, they're only practicing. Okay. That's why they call it practicing medicine. They don't know everything. They know a lot. And I would not be here without good doctors and surgeons.
Exactly.
So I'm definitely not trying to throw anybody under the bus here, but they are still practicing. Okay. They don't know you, and they don't know your body the way you know your body. And so, and something else you said that was interesting, that is important, is you have to, I'm not sure you said this exactly, but over the years, I have come to the realization that the doctor and the nurses and the hospital and stuff are just working for you, just like anybody, just like the auto mechanic, just like the one that cuts your hair. You go get your nails done or get your whatever, get your oil changed in your car. They're all working for you. And so if you don't like what they said, find a second opinion. It's
Exactly.
totally okay.
Yes.
They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. So,
Yeah.
but it's so funny because you get that room with the white coat and all the stuff, and it's hard to remember that, but it's a thing. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And everyone, everybody has a job to do, and everyone is, they probably wouldn't be practicing medicine if they didn't want to help people. So,
right.
There's that element of a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but you deserve the best care possible. You deserve to have a diagnosis. You deserve to have a treatment plan that works for you. And so I think it's really important to acknowledge that, whatever your doctor is recommending is in fact a recommendation. It's not, the be all and end all. And it certainly is important for you to communicate back to them what's working, what's not, what you agree with, what you don't. Ask for more options, ask for different solutions, ask for referrals, ask for second opinions. All of that is absolutely valid. And, we don't need to go in there, guns a-blazing and like, oh my gosh, I listened to Rebecca and she said that, that's not the point. It's let's have a conversation, right? Let's make this a conversation.
Exactly. I mean, whether it's you need to have surgery, let's reevaluate that. Or I want to give my child these vaccinations or these, medications or this, or you're prescribing this medication for this condition you diagnosed me with. Like, it goes across the board.
Yeah.
You can question all of it.
Yes.
Just going to say it out loud. You can and should question all of it. And if they should be able to answer your questions to your satisfaction before you do anything.
Absolutely.
So because you live in your body, not them.
Yeah.
So just make sure we're clear on that.
Absolutely.
So what was the thing that finally was like, this is it. We got to do this. We got to do. And why tech? Why an app?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have had a pretty long career in tech, in the tech industry, and then dealing with a lot of digital transformation in an enterprise setting with mergers and acquisitions and things like that. So tech has been sort of an ongoing thing and an ongoing thread in my career. I've done a lot of consulting for clients and implementing technologies and things like that. So tech made a lot of sense. And the reason for sort of turning this experience into something was I really felt like that revelation moment, the point of, hey, wow, I've been doing healthcare all wrong my whole life. I felt like that mustn't have been unique to me. And so the first thing I did was talk to some people, like all of the women in my life, the people that I knew. And there was a lot of nodding of heads and, oh yeah, okay, that's a really cool experience. I'm going to ask my doctor that next, and so I thought, okay, I think there's something here. And when I went to do some of the market research, sort of looking across North America, the United Kingdom, Australia, I found, there was a really, really big market sentiment of feeling unheard by the primary care provider. And just like, I don't have a treatment plan that works for me, or I don't have a diagnosis, but I feel like something is wrong, right? So in uncovering some of that, and then having lots of, I had mentioned over 100 conversations with women, the common thread was there. And so I really felt, okay, it is time to develop something. My hypothesis checked out. And it was just a matter of what exactly did that look like. And so fortunately, because I've been in tech, I worked with a few different consultants and mentors throughout my career who have helped to establish that. How do you build your product? And really that's informed by the user feedback. So with all of those conversations I had, I asked, what would make your experience better? What do you feel is missing right now? How could you feel more confident in and after an appointment? And you use that to inform how you build the product. So really, the product is built by women for women. And it's not just myself and my co-founder determining what that looks like. It's all of the voices of the people that we're having discussions with, right?
Yeah, that has got to be awesome. What a process, man. Like you're already like, even in that process of figuring out what to include with the app, you're already like giving them a voice that they probably feel like they didn't have. So even interviewing people about this, they're probably like, oh my gosh, this is, you're asking me about, you actually want me to hear what I have to say about this? I mean, from the beginning, this is super cool. And then having something result from it that is so amazing.
Yes.
So I have not, full disclosure, I have not downloaded the app. So so when they go in there, what are they going to find?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Walk me through it.
Absolutely. So when you go ahead and download the app, you'll be asked to set up a profile. That way you can save your information. You can log in and it pulls up, the trends and things that you've had over time. So you're able to go in. It'll remind you if you choose on a regular basis, or you don't have to, you can go in manually. And when you go in there, you'll have your dashboard set up with an overview of how things are going based on the symptoms that you've logged. A really easy button, you can go in and log those symptoms, right, on a regular basis. That might look like anything from, again, how you're feeling energy-wise. It could be mood-wise. It could be things you ate that day, like very, very broad. And then what we'll do is, again, over time, you can run the AI analysis and it'll identify the trends in those symptoms that you've been tracking. So I had mentioned a little earlier, we could call out things like, if you're monitoring your IBS symptoms or something like that, like, hey, you're logging IBS symptoms when you consume XYZ food product. Maybe for me, that's bell peppers, right? And so tying those things together automatically so that you're not like keeping a food diary and trying to figure out what's going on manually. And then things might be a couple days ago that you ate something that's now kind of, so trying to make that process a lot easier for the person who's logging the symptoms. So that's sort of step one in keeping track of what's going on a regular basis. Then we get to the doctor piece, right? And so that answers the question of, well, what do I even say to my doctor, right? This question has come up a lot in sort of that research that we did. So we thought, why not just translate those symptoms into a very quick bulleted list of, here are the things that you should tell your doctor in your appointment. You've been feeling moderate to severe fatigue most days of the month or the week, right? You've been experiencing IBS symptoms when you consume this type of product or during this time in your cycle, right? And then, so you'll get 3 to 5 sort of points, highlights to talk about.
Okay.
When you go into that appointment, you've got a little section for taking notes based on that appointment, along with that recommended treatment plan, if that's something. And then goes back to the cycle of logging your symptoms, right? And then you can report back on those. There's various categories too of people who may use the app. So we sort of thought about this quite holistically. We've got sort of our younger person bucket, the people who are going to their medical appointments for the first time without their parents, right? Those university students. Oh my gosh, I have to go to the doctor and I don't know what to say. Everywhere from sort of there, all the way through to like, I'm experiencing perimenopause, right? I'm in menopause and I have all of these symptoms I don't know what to do about. I don't even know what they mean. So logging that. So sort of all the way through that cycle of life and trying to support women and meet them where they're at.
Nice. I love that. There's so much here. There's a lot. That's awesome. Have you had, well, first of all, how long has the app been available?
Yeah, so we're quite new. Within the past few weeks is when we published, actually. So
Nice.
We're just at that launch stage now, which is very, very exciting.
Beautiful. So if there are people out there, any women out there that are saying, you know what might be cool, right? Like if some of the comments that we get, or if people, email you from going to your website here and say, what about this? What about that? Have you thought about this? Are you still kind of in that stage, or is it like we're like, thank you, no more questions for now?
Yeah. No, I truly believe that if we're going to be innovative, we have to be listening to the market needs, right? So
Totally.
what is it that people are in need of? That may or may not be a part of this specific product, but that might be a later iteration of this product, or it might be a different product under the umbrella, right? So it's always valuable to get that feedback, because you never really know how many people you can help just by looking into that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see coming out of this having like specific slants to the right, for common, for like fibromyalgia is very common.
Exactly.
MS is more common in women, if I'm not mistaken. Chronic fatigue syndrome. There's certain things that are just more, for whatever reason, they're just more common in women than in men. And so do you see a day maybe when you have specific sections or specific like offshoots for those kind of things? Or
Exactly. Yes. And so a longer term goal would be to look at some of the condition specific sort of slants there, like you said. What we would really like to be able to do is provide education and resources related to each of those, so that when somebody's trying to navigate, or they think they might have that, they're able to find information, credible information about that particular condition. Maybe that is potentially resources that they can go to look at treatment options, right? We know that there's a lot of different channels for what treatment might help somebody who's going through some of this stuff, right? That may look beyond sort of the pharmaceutical realm and into, like a lot of research on acupuncture and other things, right? So how do we provide that sort of data-backed research to the people, along with all of that innovation that's happening in the space these days, right? So our doctors, again, they're human beings, and how could they possibly keep up with all of the innovation that's happening on a day-to-day basis? So trying to feed in some of the newer things, the clinical trials that are coming out for those conditions, if you want to participate, perhaps even setting up research like loops, right? Hey, like I've got endometriosis. I would love to help a research group with trying to figure out how they can better diagnose or support my condition. Like put me in touch with those people. I just don't know where to find them. So certainly over time, that's a goal of ours.
I love it. And I've actually, after the show, stick around, because we definitely have to talk, because I've already written down 2 names of people that I know you need to talk to. So it's going to be, there are so many things out there, so many connections to be made that can further what this is doing. So I'm so excited. That's cool. That's really cool. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go to one more break, and then we'll come back, and then we will talk more about, I kind of like maybe success stories, maybe how to connect with you, and kind of how that goes, and what you typically, how you help people in that regard. So let's do that. Let's go to a break, and then we will talk more on the other side. Stick around, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Hey there. Every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code, and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
The Club eFit Home Portable Gym System is a groundbreaking new system that can help everyone at any fitness level. You can be the happy, fit person you always wanted to be, and Club eFit can make that happen by helping you get the body you deserve in the time you can spare. With workouts ranging from cardio, core, to total body toning, it's easy to get started. Start taking care of you today. To make the change, go to clubefit.com now.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. All right. Thank you, Rebecca. This is awesome. This has been good. I'm so excited about the information we're getting out. This is good stuff. And this app is going to be amazing. And I swear, my list is growing of people that I need to introduce you to. So this is so cool. I love it. I've only had like 2 or 3 people on the show ever that have had an app that is doing their thing, like promoting an app that's helping people. And I love that, because apps are they're so fun. They can be, it's because nobody wants to deal with, like, this is stuff people are like dreading dealing with anyway, right?
Yes.
So putting it in app form is kind of cool. I love it. Yeah. So, So I know I know you work with a lot of people. Like what helping them and getting them to the app and stuff. Like what advice would you give to other women who are feeling like what would be, you're sitting across the table from somebody that's telling you this, like they feel like something's wrong with their body. They're like, people are telling me nothing's wrong, and they keep dismissing me at appointments. What would be the first thing you would tell them?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think it's a really common thing for people to experience, right? Feeling either unheard if they have brought it up, or maybe they don't know how to bring it up. Sometimes it's really intimidating, even simply admitting that something maybe isn't quite right? That's getting over that hurdle is its own thing.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I would tell them is your experience is valid. And if you feel like something's not right, then that's probably what's going on, right? You should trust your body, trust how you're feeling, trust what your body's telling you. It may not be an end of world situation, right? It could be something really simple, like maybe your iron level is low, right? Like it could just be something as simple as that. So having the conversation with your primary care provider is important, because the only way you're going to find answers is by going that route, right? So if you get into an appointment with your primary care provider, make sure that you bring a note of exactly what your symptoms are and how they're impacting your day-to-day, right? That might look like, I can't get up in the morning, or it takes me a really long time to get out of bed. That might look like, hey, like I feel really nauseous at some point in my cycle, right? It might, there's so many different things that you could be experiencing. But if you're not able to tell them what you're feeling, how often you're feeling, and any potential triggers for that, it's really difficult for the doctor to diagnose you with anything, because they need to go based on what the symptom, what the frequency, and the impact on your life, right? So bring your notes and write down what the doctor says. Know that things change, right? You're not the same person you were 5, 10, 15 years ago. Your body's not the same body, right? Literally your cells change every 7 years. So know that things can change over time. And if you're prescribed a treatment plan that's no longer working for you, go back and explain, right? Same thing, record those symptoms, tell the doctor what is working, what's not working, why isn't it working, how are you feeling, how is that impacting your life? Because they can't read your mind, they can't just tell, right? And even if they don't have an answer, right? We've talked a little bit about women's health, and it's quite severely under-researched, underfunded. They don't always have an answer. They don't even know why people have endometriosis, right? Like that's crazy. 1 in 10 women have this and they don't know why. But they could at least take that away and say, you know what? I'll look into this further, right? That's something that my nurse practitioner has done a good job of. Hey, I'm not actually sure about what all of the options are or who the specialists are. So let me take that away and get back to you, right? And I think offering that too, like, hey, I know you might not have all the answers right now, or hey, I know like I'm having these weird symptoms and they're kind of all over the place. Maybe we can do some research and re-coordinate when it makes sense to do so, like giving sort of that grace, right, to the human who's on the other
Right.
side of the conversation.
Yeah, totally. And it's funny. I don't know why this popped into my head, but you said something that sparked. So I have a free download that I put out every once in a while, and it's when people are going through symptoms like that, and they're in the thick of it, and they're doing all this crazy stuff. They're like, "Oh my gosh, the doctor doesn't know what it is, and I don't know what it is." And and by the way, everybody, public service announcement: please don't run to WebMD with your questions for that. Please don't do that, because you'll have 14 types of cancer and be dying by next week if you do. You'll feel like, it's like producing hypochondriacs every day. But what you can do is go back to the simple stuff, right? And like, if you're feeling something, whether somebody's validated it or not, like, you know what? Let me just pop it on here real quick. If you guys ever need a kind of a bring you back down out of the rafters kind of thing, it's my top 10 ways to stay out of the ER, or top 7 ways to stay out of the ER. This is, I think sometimes it's as simple as that, and going on the app and figuring out, but yeah, it's so if anybody has found themselves in that panic mode, please scan the QR code, just check out the download, like just look at it and see if it's so oversimplistic, like literally drink more water, or go try some of the stuff that's worked before. If you went to the chiropractor and it really helped last time, I know you're in panic mode, but go to the freaking chiropractor and see if that helps again. Just slow yourself down a little bit. So, and sometimes that's all it takes, is slowing yourself down enough and on the app too, probably like slow yourself down enough to go in there and instead of being in panic mode.
Yes, absolutely. It can
Yeah.
also help with just looking at it from a perspective of the data. Hey, okay, I have been logging some fatigue, but actually it's not extreme every single day for 3 months, because I
Yeah.
am getting out of bed and I am doing my day to day and I am eating my meals and I am seeing my friends and family. So, okay, today's a bad day or this week's a bad week, but actually, if I look back, not every day has been the worst day. And if it has been the worst day, then yes, I need to talk to my doctor and maybe I do need to go to the ER, but high chance you've probably been doing an all right job with your function over time, might be having a bad day. People have bad days. That's not fun. It's not
No.
great. And you're allowed to acknowledge today's not a great day for me, but I'm going to put on that episode that I've been wanting to watch and I'm going to treat myself, right? I'm going to have
That's
that
right.
little bar of chocolate, right?
So true. Yeah. Sometimes that's, I'm telling you, after those days, man, I've had those days, and yeah, it's true. It sounds so simple and so silly, but it's true. Yeah. Get out the ice cream and get out or whatever, and watch a couple episodes or binge a little bit. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna look down on you for doing that. It's a good thing.
Yes.
It's awesome. Well, we got about, I told you this was going to be the shortest hour of your life. It's been so cool having you here, and it's been so fast, and we're already almost done. We have about 3 minutes left, maybe 2.5 minutes left. What would you like to leave the audience with in that last couple minutes?
Yeah, that's great. I've so enjoyed being here, and I'm so glad that the audience is, engaged, and this is like exactly the people that I'm trying to help. So thank you so much, Jeff, for having me. But what I'd love to leave everybody with is you're allowed to have feelings. You're allowed to feel things, and you're allowed to communicate those. And if you're not met with the response that you were hoping to have, you're allowed to look elsewhere. You're allowed to come back and say, okay, well, how else could I communicate this, right? You're allowed to find community. You're allowed to complain. You're allowed to have a bad day, but you're also allowed to have a lot of good days, right?
That's right. I love that. Actually, that reminds me there was a person that, where is it? I had a guest on one time that said, oh, I don't have it. Shoot. I got to figure out how to way to put this on the screen because it's so cool. But they said this little girl, I had her dad on the show, and his little daughter, who was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 at the time. He said, well, she had a bad, episode that day or something. And he said, man, those bad days, man. And she looked at him and said, Daddy, it's not bad days. My whole day's not ruined. It was just a few minutes, it was just a bad minute. It was just a bad moment, and so it doesn't, those bad times don't have to ruin your whole day.
No.
So it's like, man, wisdom from the mouths of children, right? It's like, where does this come from? So I love that. Well, hey, man, Rebecca, I wish we had more time, but thank you so much for being here and for getting this out to everybody and working so hard on this app. I can't wait to see it and get it out there and see the difference it's making. And thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Jeff. It's been great.
Absolutely. All right, man. Okay. I'm going to leave that QR code up for just a couple more minutes and then it's going away. So scan it now. Thank you so much for being here. Seriously, it is an honor to be here with you every single time. And I'm so glad that you chose to spend this time with me. I'm so grateful. If you are brand new, welcome. If this is your 100th episode you've watched, thank you for sticking around. Bring your friends, and share, like, subscribe, follow, all the things. You know how it works, especially if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. So share it out. And join us for our next episode, which will be on Tuesday, August 19th. So that'll be another episode with another amazing guest. Okay, I'm gonna take this down. So scan it. It's going away. There it goes. All right. You'll have to rewind the episode and watch it to get the QR code again. All right. So, and remember to, whoops, there we go. Now we can see it. Remember to download that, you know what, honestly, the top 7 ways to stay out of the ER, that's good for everybody. That's not just good for somebody with an invisible condition or visible condition. I don't care. Anybody out there that fogs up a mirror, that qualifies everybody on the planet, will benefit from this list. And so I highly encourage you to scan the QR code and download it and print it off and put it on your fridge if you need to, especially those of you that have a family member or somebody that lives in your house with an invisible condition. It will be highly beneficial to you. And so thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Join us for our next show on Tuesday, August 19th. And till then, have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.